Okay, this was not the review, or the, return that I had intended. I did set up a little mini review, but it was more about how Frankie was not just a disposable female character, and that's really more War Corpse's territory. And it really sounded more like when I do War Corps 666, to it just sounded like more of a rant than anything. So if I do it, it's going to be on War Corpse's channel. But I did give my word that I would return to this, and I didn't have time to make a review, a full review, even. So I guess I'm just gonna give my opinion on the upcoming consoles, and then 10 things that I am never gonna goddamn review, most likely, because I never put anything in stone, because I never know what the future holds. Anyway, my opinion of the new consoles is I'm excited as hell, but I'm going to wait a while, so you're not going to see, like, PS4 videos the second it comes out. It's not a monetary issue. It's the simple fact of the first generation of consoles, ever since the PS, they've gotten so advanced that every single one of them just has bug after bug and patch after patch. I'd rather just say fuck it and, you know, not have to deal with the launch day kind of fuck-ups or headaches. So I'm going to probably wait about 6 months, and then I'll probably roll on down and buy, I'm definitely buying a PS4 because I love my PlayStations. I'm probably going to buy an Xbox One. The Wii U, unless somebody can give me a compelling case. I was so fucking burned by the Wii, I really have no desire to buy the Wii U. And there's no game titles on it that make me go, holy shit, I gotta get that. So, unless somebody wants to defend the Wii U and convince me to buy it. So, that's my opinion. I'm happy. I'm excited for them. I hope they do really well, because I don't think the video game industry can survive a second crash. Now, here's the 10 things that I am probably never going to review on AGR. This is an unscripted one, so let's get right into it. Number 10, handhelds. Maybe it's just a prejudice learned in childhood, but I think handhelds suck. But remember, I grew up not with your fancy-ass DS. I grew up with the fucking Game Boy and the Game Gear that you had to hold at one angle in the entire 360-degree spectrum to see the fucking screen. The fucking Game Boy screen gave you a fucking migraine. The games stunk. They were watered-down versions of their console counterparts. I just don't like handhelds. My idea of playing a video game is, you know, a drink at your side, in your favorite chair, controller in your hands. That's playing a fucking game. Now, I won't say that I won't review it, because maybe one day I'll make a video, you know, me reviewing handhelds. But outside of, you know, for the most of the near future, and almost certainty, no. Unless I feel like I've got something to say or I could make the episode funny. Number 9, anything before NES, unless, of course, I have something to work with, which will be probably the most... which will probably be a compilation CD. The reason is the Ataris, you know, they're over 30 years old, so finding ones that work is a problem. But the reason is that most of those games are so fucking simple that I got nothing to review. What's to review in combat? And also, I don't know, me and my friends, we always made fun of Atari. We kind of looked down our noses at it. Like I said, this is when I was a kid, man. And I just have no interest in them, and like I said, there's not a lot there for me to review, so no, I'm not going to do anything before SNES. Or NES, excuse me, NES. I always say SNES because that was my fucking favorite system. Number 8, sports games. Unless there's something I can review, I'm going to probably do a Fight Night Champion review because of the story mode. There's something I can review there. Outside of that, I'm probably never going to do a Madden review because, hey, at the end of the day, it's a fucking football game. I'm probably not going to do like 2K14 MLB baseball because it's baseball. What the fuck is there for me to review? I mean, and don't get me wrong. Just because there's nothing for me to review, in my opinion, doesn't mean I don't like them. I love sports games. But after UFC 3, unless they put some weird new mode in, I have nothing left to say about it outside of rehashing what I said in Undisputed 3. It's the same basic concept, you know. But that doesn't mean I don't like the game, you know. But there's just not a lot, in my opinion, for what I want, for what I think, what I want to do with game reviewing that I can actually fucking review. Because I'm not a journalistic game reviewer. I'm a little bit more than that. I'm a little bit different than that. Number 7, Neo Geo games. This stems from the cost of the fact that the Neo Geo is still about $400 to $500 on eBay, and the games still are at their original retail price of about $100. I was going to try to get a Neo Geo, and then I thought, you know what, the cost and all this other shit, and most of the games on Neo Geo are fighting games, and there's not a lot to review there, and they're not bad games, so there's not really anything I can get that pissed off about. I kind of just said fuck it. I mean, but that's just me. Maybe one day that'll change. Number 6, Final Fantasy. Now hold on, before all you Final Fantasy fans kill me and crucify me. There's going to be an even worse example. I am not the biggest fan of Final Fantasy due to the time it takes. And that's why I probably won't review any games. Because I don't have the time to sit there and devote to an RPG like that. There's just something there that I find bores me. That's just me. I mean, and I play long games. You know, I love KOTOR, I love Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, and what makes them so great, and in my opinion, and what makes Final Fantasy kind of a grind, I don't know. Anyway, the reason you'll never see it is, you might see me review 4 possible Final Fantasy games. That's Final Fantasy 2 for the SNES, or Final Fantasy 4, I believe it is. Final Fantasy 3, which is one of my favorite games, or as it's known in Japan, Final Fantasy 6. Final Fantasy 7, another great game. Final Fantasy 6 and 7 are the only canon Final Fantasy games that I actually beat. And probably my favorite Final Fantasy game of all time, Final Fantasy Tactics. Those are probably the 4 that you might see, but I wouldn't hold my breath. Outside of that, one game that like sparked outrage, it was Final Fantasy 8 or 9 or 10. One of them pissed off the fans completely. You see, that's why I won't review that one, because I don't know enough about what makes a good Final Fantasy game and what the fans like so much about it to do a proper review written by me. Now, if somebody wants to donate a written fucking script and game footage and all the shit that, you know, kind of prepackage it, where all I have to do is sit there and yell, I'll do that. But, you know, outside of that, I gotta be spoon-fed what to say, because I don't know enough about it due to lack of interest in the Final Fantasy world. Number 5. That doesn't mean they're not great games. I mean, I'm sure they are, but it's just not my cup of tea, outside of the exceptions that are mentioned. Number 5, Superman 64. I have the cart. I was going to do it. Then I watched James Rolfe video. There's nothing more I can say. He did it. He did it first. He said pretty much everything I would have said. And I tried really hard to make my review unique. So unless I come up with a stroke of Shakespearean genius and can figure out a way to make it my own, not going to be doing review Superman 64. You want to watch a Superman 64 review that's funny? Go watch James Rolfe. Sorry, he did it first, and I don't think I can bring anything new to the table. There have been times when I've reviewed the same games as him. I think once. But I felt in that instance that I could bring something to the table. my own spin on it. But Superman 64, I don't think I got enough. Number 4, Legend of Zelda. Now, please don't crucify me. I'm not saying this series is bad. I love A Link to the Past. Unfortunately, Ocarina of Time I like. But unfortunately, Link to the Past is the only Zelda game I love. So, it more comes down to, this is not my cup of tea. And again, I don't know enough about Zelda canon to talk about why this sucks or that sucks or this is a piece of shit. I'm not gonna do like a Zelda timeline video because everybody's already done them and how confusing they are. So you're probably, just due to the fact that I have a lack of interest in the game, you're probably not going to see me review it. I might do A Link to the Past. I did really love that game. That'd be kind of the exception of the rule. Maybe Ocarina of Time, when I get them. But that'd be the exception of the rule. Zelda, way too much puzzle solving for my blood. I don't know. It's just, you know, everybody's got their own tastes. Does not mean they're bad games. You know, the Zelda Wii game, the whatever it was called, I did play it for about an hour and did have fun, but after about an hour I got bored with it and wanted to play something else. Zelda, for some reason, just does not hold my interest. Just me. So if you wanna crucify me still. Now, the next 3 are more akin to there's not enough material to review, not that they're not fun or good games. Number 3, and just because it's the king of it right now, Candy Crush, Farmville, and all those other casual games that people enjoy playing on their cell phones while they're taking a break from their working day. Once again, this is not to say the games are bad, but you do have to admit the games are fairly simple. But hell, simple does not equal bad. But the reason I'll never review any of them, unless it's like a special where I try like 20 of them, the reason I won't is why I couldn't do a standalone like Candy Crush. And I've never even played Candy Crush, but I assume it's a candy crushing, you get 3 alike, you get rid of it type of deal. The reason I would never review it is because there's not enough for me to review. There's not enough for me to talk about to make it a standalone review in what I consider a Angry Game Review episode. So you're not going to see any Candy Crush or any casual games from me. Doesn't mean they're bad games. Just they're simple games, and that kind of, for me, it's just kind of like, you know, and truth be told, I don't mind simple games. I still like my bubble shooter. I did play Farmville for a while, but there's not a lot for me to comment in Farmville. You raise the fucking crops, you sell the fucking crops, you milk the fucking cow, you feed the fucking animals, you fucking do this, you fucking do that, you spend your own goddamn money on this piece of shit game. I guess this is the greatest conning job in the world. That's it. Review over. Bye. That's it. All I can really say about that. Number 2. World of Warcraft. Or any other MMORPG. The reason here, there's nothing for me to review. You go on a mission, you get some experience points, you quest, you do this, you do that, done, bye. What the hell can I comment on? Okay, the graphics are cool. It should, because of all the fucking money they spent on it. There's just not enough there for me to comment on, and that's why I don't play MMOs, because they get very boring after a while. What am I supposed to comment on? How much you can contact or customize your character? Wow. You see how he's picked that lavender bandana to go with that orange cape. Oh my god, shades of 2012's fall fashion show. I'm reviewing a fucking game. So that's why you probably won't see me do any MMORPGs. I thought I might have one. And the other thing is paying to play it and whatever. Anyway, now we come to the point where this is a series that I absolutely love. Would love to do a review on it. Unfortunately, there's not enough there, in my opinion. And that is the Total War series. I love the Total War series. I do. But to me, there's not enough there to make it. There's not enough material to work with. It's a pretty straightforward turn-based strategy game. And that's why it works. That's why it is so great. Because they didn't bother with all the other bullshit. And it's a turn-based strategy game that doesn't also have you micromanaging every fucking little thing. Because that was a problem with turn-based strategy games during like the 16-bit and the 8-bit era. Was you had to manage everything. You know, soldiers training, this, how many to recruit, rice production, this production, that. You had to fucking micromanage everything. Total War comes along and they say, well, we'll just have you manage the cash and the armies. That was cool. And that's why Shogun was so successful. That's why Medieval was even more successful. That's why Rome kicked ass. That's why Medieval 2 was so successful. And that's why it's been so successful. It's a wonderful series because it is a simple turn-based strategy game done to the nth degree. Unfortunately, for me to review it, I don't have enough material to work with. How many times can I say how gorgeous the battles look? You know, it's not to say they're not masterpieces of games. But for me and what I do on Angry Game Reviews, there's not enough for the Angry Game Review character to work with. Yeah, I hate to say it, but it's the Total War. I almost consider doing a standalone video on it because I love that goddamn series so much. But it's the greatest series that I don't think I'm ever gonna review, or don't think I'm ever gonna have anything really to review it on. There was a bit of hope in Empire with the George Washington storyline, but that really to me wasn't enough to, because you didn't have to do it. So maybe with Rome 2, if they really kind of keep going with this story campaign bullshit, which would wreck Total War, maybe then I'll bring it up, because it is one of my most beloved series. But it, like I said, it is the greatest game franchise that I probably will never review. So that ends my top 10 of things that I will never review. Damn, it's good to be back on this channel.